Hey everyone, alright, so here we are. Tank has been set up now for 2 straight weeks, give or take a day or so. Can't quite remember where it overlaps. The aquascape has changed just a little bit, just to accommodate the corals and to deal with, once I got the MP40s in, the amount of water that they were circulating around. I guess some of those rocks that I put down weren't quite as stable as I thought, or as I'd liked them to have been. So most notably this island right here. This one's been mixed up. I quite like it because you've got the big arch here, you've got a little cave that runs through here on the outside, but there's actually another cave that goes through there, and it's quite a long cave, so that seems to be quite a popular spot with the fish. And that comes out this end here, right where you can see the bicolor angel, or you could see the bicolor angel. So yeah, aquascaping wise, really happy. These are the 2 rocks that the anemones came in on. They're not going anywhere by the looks of things, so they're part of it. I think it adds a nice bit of depth to the tank though, so I think it looks quite nice. The only casualty of the move and the upgrade is the larger of the 2 rose bubble tip anemones. As you can see, the little guy down here is doing really well, and that's not even at his most expanded, I should say. But here's the large bubble tip anemone, and he's really not doing well. I don't know why. I'm feeding him the same amount as I am the smaller rose bubble tip, but since bringing him into this tank, he's just slowly started to, I guess, lose his colour, lose his body, just really shrink up. This is probably the best I see of him lately. So really, I don't know what's going on with him. I would have thought that if he was that unhappy, he would have moved to a better position. I can't think that it's that I'm not feeding him enough, because I'm feeding them every other day or every 2 days. So I'm not feeding them too much either when I do feed them. So I don't know. I'm at a bit of a loss, really. All the corals are doing really well. The green leather coral here, he hasn't really, I've had to move him around quite a bit. This is only day 2 in this spot, and I've yet to see him fully expand out, so we'll have to keep an eye on him. But everything else, corals wise and fish wise, is doing well. Really happy with how the aquascapes turned out, really happy with how the corals are doing. I'm just really happy in general with how things are looking now. I think I've got everything stable. I have the pumps now set up on a different schedule to the last one, something that's more suitable to the larger tank. I think the 2 MP40s go up to a maximum of 70%. That loud noise you might be hearing is my auto top off. And it's probably a little bit louder because it needs to be filled back up again. So let's have a look under the hood, under the cabinet, sorry. Refugium wise, I recycled the Clerpa that I used previously, and that seems to be doing quite well. There's definitely noticeable growth though of that purple algae or red slime algae. So I'm making a point of coming in and clearing that out whenever I can, so it looks like I need to do another clean out. But apart from that purple algae that's growing, I think everything's doing okay. What's really lacking is some copepods and just some life in this refugium now. So I think that's going to be the next step, is seeing what I can do so far as bringing in some pods. That admittedly isn't going to happen though for a couple months, I don't think. I don't see myself adding any additional fish and corals to the tank. I just want this to settle down, make sure everything's doing well, and then I'm going to set up a quarantine tank upstairs in my office, probably like a 20 long or something like that. I'll get a decent stand for it so it looks reasonable. So that's all the good stuff, I guess. Bad stuff is we got the issue with the large rose bubble tip anemone. I've lost one of the zoanthid rocks. What I thought, and this is the flame skirt zoanthids, what I thought was a purple sponge growing on the rock and basically taking over and suffocating the zoanthids was in fact some kind of slime. I wouldn't say it's purple slime algae, it looked more spongy to the eye, but as it grew, when I picked it up to check it, because I was getting concerned that a lot of the zoanthids were actually being covered up by this stuff, I realized it was a slime algae, and I didn't want to, well, I tried to pick it off, but I mean it was just so on there, and I didn't want to dig too much because zoanthids actually contain a very, very, very toxic substance in them that if you squish them, they might shoot that out at you, or they might excrete that toxin. And actually, it actually happened. I actually had a bit squat out on my shirt, so that was kind of a sign for me to say, yeah, you know what, I don't think this is quite worth it. So I didn't want this stuff taking over the tank. Obviously, I couldn't sit and pick at it and try and get it off because that was just causing me all sorts of problems, so I just threw the rock away. I put it under boiling hot water first, and then I just threw it away, and that was it. So I should go back to my earlier point about the zoanthids containing this toxin. Not all zoanthids can, or my understanding is that either not all zoanthids contain this toxin, or not all zoanthids contain quite a high level of this toxin. So I don't know the name of it, but if you're curious, I would definitely Google it a little bit more. There was quite a good article on it on Reef to Reef a month or so ago. So it was actually from that article that I discovered this, and as I researched it more, I was like, oh, okay, I've got to give zoanthids a little bit more respect when I handle them now, I think. So, yeah. The other bad thing is that, and it's not really a bad thing, it's just more of an inconvenience, the 5-gallon auto top-off container that I'm using, one of the jugs that I use to transport water from the old tank to the new one, is what's being used right now, and it's really small compared to my nice 25 gallon container, so I'm finding myself refilling this thing up every maybe 3 days or so. So here it is. Today is Friday. That is the use, gosh, I think that's Wednesday. So come Saturday, that's going to need to be refilled again. So I'm not exactly loving that, to be honest. So I'm going to see what I can figure out so far as an alternative, but this will do for right now. As you can see, I've got all the electronics set up. There's not really great light in here, but you don't really need to see everything. So I've got 2 battery backups now, one for each of the MP40s. And those have come into play already twice since we've moved here. Actually, there's been 2 separate power outages, which makes me really nervous because I don't have anything to power the heaters. So I'm really going to give some pretty serious consideration to a UPS or some sort of maybe a petrol generator or something to that effect, because we've only been here for 3 weeks now and we've already had the power go out twice. The first time it only went out for a couple minutes, but time after that it was down for like 20-30 minutes, so really nervous about that. Secondly and lastly, not necessarily, well, sorry, 2 things, not necessarily bad things, but going and planning ahead for the future. this is the front door to the house here. So when you walk in, the first thing you see is going to be the tank here. So one thing that I really don't like, and it's really starting to annoy me, is when you walk past, you can see down the back there, you can see all the tubing, the wires, the cabling, the lights. It just really annoys me. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to see about having something made so that it covers the this hole up basically, and it looks like it's going to be part of the tank itself. Obviously the light's not really that great right now, so I can't really go into too much detail, and then have it go along the back of the tank too, so it covers the top and the side here. So that's the plan. I don't know when that's going to happen, but I've already had someone come down and give me a quote for that, and it's actually pretty reasonable. So I might just do that. Secondly, and lastly, let me just see what that is there. Looks like a bit of water. Secondly and lastly, my saltwater mixing station and freshwater mixer. It was going to be in this bathroom here. Well, actually, it was going to be in one of two places. It was going to be either in this bathroom here, which is where it currently is, or it was going to be in here. The reason being is just because we have a direct connection to the water supply here, and we have a good connection under the sink here. But that is when the tank was going to be up against this wall. That was not a practical option. So I started wondering, you have to excuse the mess, I know it's a bit of a joke, we've been here 3 weeks and we still haven't fully unpacked yet, and we've still got furniture to come. It's just, that's for another conversation for another day. I was at a bit of a bind really on what to do so far as where am I going to put the saltwater mixing station. So I thought about putting it upstairs. There's a bathroom right above it, and I have the stairs here, so I could just run a long tube down the stairs, gravity feed for fill-ups, and I could open up the door, the front door here, and again, gravity feed for emptying out the tank. However, there's a closet here, and this closet now has access to the sink in the kitchen. So there's the sink, here's the tubing, and here's my outlet. So this is going to be my, I don't want to call it a fish room because it's not really a fish room, it's more of a fish closet. But this is basically going to be the saltwater mixing area, and this is where I'm going to be storing all my fish stuff. And it's right across from the tank. So I couldn't have wished for better really, so really excited for that. The tank is due for a water change, I'd say about now, so I'm going to crack on with this over the weekend, and I will absolutely do a video of how that looks, and you know, maybe something along the way of me building it too. We'll see. But I just had to share that with you guys. Really excited to get my own little fish closet, and I think that's going to work out really well. And I'll go into more details about everything as well at the time. So, but for now, I just want to show you a quick little sneak peek of what I've got going on in here. I want to show you guys the tank, to show everyone how it's looking and how we're going. And I'm just glad that it's over now. I really am. So thank you for watching, guys, and I'll be back in a few days with an update on the fish closet. Thanks. Bye.